Well, good afternoon, everybody. At a little after 5 o'clock on Saturday, the first day of August, 2020, this is meteorologist Joe Rayo with an update on the projections as to what the newest tropical cyclone, tropical storm ISAIAS, is going to be bringing us over the course of the next several days. We just got the very latest position and information from the National Hurricane Center, which I will share with all of you right now. The storm system has been downgraded. It is now a tropical storm. It was a hurricane. Let me just show you a bit of a close up here. I can bring the view up a little bit, and you can see what we're talking about. Right here is where the storm is, and it is still rather ragged. It's still rather disorganized. It is located, if you're plotting it on a map, at 25.1 north, 78.7 west. That is approximately 115 miles to the southeast of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The storm is moving on a northwest path at 10 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds as of this hour, 70 miles per hour. However, there is an anticipation from the Hurricane Center, the National Hurricane Center, that the storm is going to intensify back to a hurricane over the course of the next few hours. Let me try and get you a picture here, a view of the storm. And I apologize for any technical mishaps here, but we're going to try to get you a view. There you go of a loop, an actual video or movie taken from the GOES 16 satellite. There's the storm, and as I said, it is rather ragged looking right now. It never has really gotten together into a very formative system just yet. But again, intensification is anticipated in the coming hours. Now, according to the National Hurricane Center, the last data received from previous Air Force Reserve reconnaissance aircraft, along with recent satellite and radar imagery, indicate that the storm has weakened to a tropical storm, and that's due to a combination of several things: a wind shear in the atmosphere, dry air, and interaction with Andros Island in the Bahamas earlier today. So all of these things have knocked the hurricane strength back to a tropical storm by really only about 5 miles. It was a Category 1 minimal hurricane at 75. It's now down to, I said, 70 miles an hour, and now with time, as it moves along to the north and west, it is, as I said, expected to increase over the next several hours back to a hurricane. A new reconnaissance mission into the cyclone is currently going on, and will be providing new data concerning the intensity of the storm. So we'll be monitoring that. And later this evening on the Joe Chiaffi Weather Channel on YouTube, we're going to be doing a special Saturday night Joe and Joe on the storm. And so we'll be talking more about that. By that time, we'll have new information. And maybe, just maybe, by that time, the storm will have gone back up to hurricane status. Let's show you on the latest view from the GFS, the Global Forecasting System, what the storm is anticipated to do over the span of the next few days. This is the view as of 18Z on Tuesday. In other words, this is where it's expected to be at 2 o'clock Tuesday afternoon. I'm going to change the viewpoint here again just slightly, just a little bit, so that we can, again, get you honed in on what we're anticipating. There, of course, is the storm center, which, according to the GFS, at 2 o'clock this afternoon is going to be in northeasternmost Virginia, approaching the Delmarva Peninsula region. And the thought is, at least my thoughts, are that this storm system, we're going to see rain from it probably first thing in the morning on Tuesday. That's when we'll begin to see some light rainfall, probably around daybreak on Tuesday here in the tri-state metropolitan area. And then as the storm gets nearer to us, as it continues on a track to the north and east up in our direction, we're expecting the winds and the rains to intensify. I think that the worst of this storm is going to be probably coming our way during the evening hours of Tuesday into the after midnight hours of Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. During that 6 to 8 hour time frame, that is when we're likely to see the storm at its worst in terms of wind and in terms of rain. In fact, if we move things along here, this is 2 o'clock. Here we go to 8 o'clock p.m. And according to the GFS, at that time, the storm would be over central New Jersey. And all of what you see here, the yellows, the oranges, the deep shades of red, that's moderate to heavy to perhaps even torrential rain. And as you can see, by 8 o'clock, that area is just arriving in the New York area, western sections of Long Island, Nassau County, covering most of northern and central New Jersey, and on up into the Hudson Valley. And again, we're expecting not just the rains, but also the winds. This will be a windswept, heavy rainfall. And again, the rain could come down rather torrentially, and we could even have some lightning and thunder involved as well. From 8 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday, the GFS is forecasting the storm to be, whoops, hang on. I'm going to move this back here. Let me get this. There we go. There we are. And again, this is where we were. Sorry about that. 8 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday, as I said, the heavy-duty rains are now entering New York City, western Long Island, the Hudson Valley, and covering a good part of northern and central Jersey. This is from the center of the storm being located or positioned, according to the GFS, over in central New Jersey. We move another 6 hours, this time up to 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday morning. You see now that the storm is over northern sections of Connecticut, probably not too far away from Hartford, Connecticut. Notice, if you will, that the heavy rains have now exited New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, and is exiting now the northern and eastern sections of the Hudson Valley. So my thoughts are that, again, the heaviest rains will be hitting us probably sometime between 7 and 8 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday to about 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. The storm will continue to move on a northeast trajectory on up through southern New England. And by the time we get to 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning, the storm's effect is now basically over Maine and all of New York State, and much of western and southern sections of New England pretty much will be out of it, as well as Long Island and New Jersey. So it would not even be surprising if people woke up on Wednesday morning to sunshine. And in fact, we could very well be done with the rain, at least in the immediate tri-state area, again, by midnight or maybe 1 or 2 a.m. Again, the heaviest of the rain coming, I think, during the Tuesday evening to early Wednesday morning time frame. Let's show you a view now of the projection from the National Hurricane Center. Now, I should point out here, as I move things here along into view for you, this is the 5 o'clock projected path. If you go to my Facebook page, you will see that I myself plotted a path for the storm based upon a consensus of the North American model, the NAM, the GFS, and also the European model. And I have to tell you that it came out pretty much to be the same type of path that the National Hurricane Center has come up with. In other words, 2 a.m. on Tuesday, somewhere near the coastline of South Carolina. By 2 p.m. on Tuesday, moving through northeastern sections of Virginia to near the Delmarva, cutting through our area, probably sometime along about midnight or so on Tuesday night, out of our area after midnight, and by 2 p.m. on Wednesday, up into Maine and pretty well out of our area. So that's when we're anticipating the worst of it, is during Tuesday evening into the early wee hours of Wednesday morning. The worst or heaviest of the rain is anticipated to be along and just to the left or to the west of the storm track. So we're going to be into that for most of New Jersey, western Long Island, on into the Hudson Valley. My anticipation is that we could see anywhere from 2 to 4 inches of rain. And if a bit of convection gets involved, in other words, if we get some thunderstorms involved with this, that some isolated spots could even see as much as 5 or 6 inches. But that, again, would be isolated in nature. I think the general broad brush viewpoint of rainfall in terms of rainfall amounts will be on the order of 2 to 4 inches. And the worst of it, or the heaviest of it, will be Tuesday evening into the after midnight hours of Wednesday. As far as the winds are concerned, the heaviest or strongest winds will be to the right or to the east of the storm track. That means that for those of you who are watching right along the immediate coastal plain of New Jersey and on up into central and eastern Long Island, could see winds gusting upwards to 30 to 60 miles per hour. That could bring down a few trees. It could bring down a few power lines. It could plunge portions of the tri-state area into darkness by causing some power outages. To the left or to the west of the storm track, winds will be gusty, but maybe not quite as strong, more along the lines of 20 to 40 miles per hour. That still could bring down a tree or two or a power line or two. I'm not saying that everybody is going to escape this. It's going to be a windswept type of rain here. Again, probably sometime centering on Tuesday evening on into early on Wednesday morning. So again, that'll be the time frame for the storm. And again, the storm should not be a hurricane. Once it probably will intensify, as I said, in the coming hours, once it gets its feet wet and over warmer waters and away from the land and away from that southwesterly shear that knocked it back to a tropical storm over the last few hours. Once it gets out of that zone and back closer to Florida, it should rev up again to a hurricane later this afternoon or tonight. And then as it approaches and moves onshore across the southeastern coast during Monday and Monday night, it should be back to a tropical storm. So whatever we see here locally on Tuesday, again, mainly later in the day and Tuesday night, that will be from a tropical storm. It will not be coming from a hurricane. We will not have a direct effect from a hurricane, but from a tropical storm later on Tuesday and Tuesday night. Again, as the storm makes its closest pass at us, probably late Tuesday night, looks like maybe about 50 to 75 miles south and east of New York City. That's when we'll be seeing the heaviest rains and the strongest and gustiest winds here from ISAIAS, one of the most unusual names I've ever had in all my years of doing weather. One of the most unusual names for any kind of a tropical cyclone that I've ever had to deal with. All right, I'm going to once again talk about the effects of the storm. Let's talk about the effects once again with ISAIAS. The rain will arrive, as I said, before sunrise on Tuesday. The heaviest and most adverse part of the rains and the winds will be Tuesday evening to perhaps after midnight on Wednesday, 6 to 8 hour interval. Winds will gust from 20, that would be for areas mainly to the west and north of the storm track, to as high as maybe 60 miles per hour. And that would be for areas along and to the east of the storm track, which unfortunately would include coastal sections of New Jersey, as well as central and especially eastern Long Island. In fact, I recall back in August of 1991, you folks out on eastern Long Island had to deal with Hurricane Bob. It was 29 years ago this month. Well, probably 29 years afterwards, another storm taking a track pretty well over your area, over your vicinity. That'll be with ISAIAS. Although Bob was a hurricane, this again will probably be of a tropical storm nature, tropical storm force when we get to Tuesday evening into the overnight hours, Tuesday night on into early Wednesday. Rainfall generally 2 to 4 inches. Isolated amounts could be in excess of 4 inches, maybe 5 or 6. And that would be especially true if we get hold of any thunderstorm activity, any localized heavy thunderstorm activity. And I'll tell you something. Those of you who are in the path of the storm to the right or to the east of the storm track, it's quite possible, and I'm talking about you folks along the coastal plain of New Jersey and especially central and eastern Long Island, would not be surprising if the Storm Prediction Center in Oklahoma decided, in conjunction with the National Hurricane Center in Miami, to put these areas under a tornado watch. That sometimes happens with landfalling tropical systems, and especially if they feel that there's a good chance of strong convection. That could happen also later Tuesday and Tuesday night. Again, for those along and especially east of the storm track, up into southern New England, Rhode Island, and southeastern Massachusetts, that's a possibility again as well. So 2 to 4 inches of rain, isolated amounts in excess of 4 inches, and the worst, as I said, should be behind us by daybreak Wednesday. In fact, I would not be surprised if on Wednesday many of you woke up to a bit of sunshine. The worst of the storm should be well past us by then, over into Maine and eastern New England. Again, for us, the worst of it will be our way on Tuesday evening into the overnight hours after midnight, Tuesday night and early Wednesday. I'm going to close the shutter for just a brief moment here as we turn the camera around. And as I do, let's see, I'm going to bring myself up into view here and see if any of you have any questions concerning the storm. Hang on for just a few more seconds as I lift the lens up. There we go. And hi to everybody. And let's see some of the questions. If any of you have any questions, here's Joe Chiappi saying hi all. And Joe, I reminded them we're going to be together at 7 o'clock tonight with the latest update on the storm. Who knows, by then maybe a tropical storm ISAIAS will be back up to a hurricane. As we noted a few moments ago, latest reconnaissance flight in progress right now, and we'll be looking at that during the next couple of hours. So let's see if there are any questions. Tim Beltman, need that heavy rain area to expand some to alleviate the dry, droughty conditions across the Northeast. Yes, portions of the Northeast, especially in parts of New England, are in need of rainfall. So this may be a blessing in disguise if we do get some significant and heavy rain. Tim also adds that this time of the year, with the added weight of leaves on trees and them being rain-soaked, winds don't have to be too strong to create problems with tree damage. We certainly hope that we don't have that to any great or widespread concern on Tuesday or Tuesday night. But again, we warn you that there will be possible power outages with this storm. Again, especially where the winds are strongest. That looks to be coastal plain of New Jersey, parts of central and eastern Long Island, southern and eastern sections of New England, where the winds could rev up to 50 or 60 miles per hour or more. Also, and we mentioned this on our update yesterday, there will be a full moon come tomorrow night. No, actually, it'll be on Monday night, and that means that the tides will be at their highest in the day or two after full moon, which unfortunately coincides with the time when the storm will be on our vicinity. So we'll be dealing with that, the potential not only along the coast for coastal flooding, but maybe beach erosion as well. On my Facebook page, as we get closer to the event, I'll try to post a listing of high tide times when the storm is at its worst for Tuesday and into Tuesday night. So stay tuned to that. Matt Coletta writes, yesterday I made a nice statement that we wish no harm from this storm, but Mother Nature is thrilled to be whole. Well, yeah, this is the kind of thing, Mark, that for myself, for Joe Chiappi, I know, for the people who you see on television or hear on radio, folks like Craig Allen on CBS, a very, very dedicated and well-renowned forecaster, all of us got drawn into this science of meteorology from events like this in our younger days. Now I think it kind of mellowed out some in all of the years or decades that we've been in this business, but we don't want nature to get too out of control with this particular storm in the coming days ahead. Can this storm be compared to the track of David in 1979 for New York and New Jersey? Well, David passed to the west of us, Michael, and if I recall, we had a couple of hours of very heavy squally rains early, I think on the morning of September the 6th, and we also went under a tornado watch for the passage of that storm. But again, that storm took a different track. That storm was well inland to the west of the New York City metropolitan area, the remnants of David, that is, but it was still a rather formidable storm, as will be the case with this one as well. This one in its own way, I'm sure, will bring its own share of unsettled weather and adverse conditions for a while later on Tuesday and on into Tuesday night. And let's see, what else? 40 years is a long time in weather, Steve LaPont says. Yeah, believe it, Steve. You got to believe it. People like myself, Joe Chiappi, Craig Allen, we've been in this business a long, long time. We've been through the wars, so to speak. And this is just another thing that we'll be adding to our listing here, this particular storm coming up early this upcoming week with ISAIAS for our area again for later Tuesday and Tuesday night. And I hope my wife now doesn't chide me I'm trying my best here to pronounce this correctly. She's been giving me lessons on how to pronounce this storm correctly. I myself simply say there was a song back, I think in the 50s, Love Potion #9. Well, this particular system, this tropical cyclone, is tropical cyclone #9. So maybe we should just call it tropical cyclone #9 and be done with it, or just simply #9. Before I sign off, again, a reminder on the Joe Chiappi YouTube channel tonight at 7 o'clock. We're going to be doing a special Saturday night Joe and Joe. And for those of you who are online right now on my channel, Joe Rayo Weather at YouTube, I'm hoping that you are a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, tell people that we're on the air doing this sort of stuff. I plan to be back on the air with the latest update on this storm tomorrow afternoon, Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock. And we'll keep doing these updates at 5 p.m. on Sunday and Monday, and especially Tuesday, as we get closer and closer to this event, this particular approach and passage of this tropical storm. But we are trying to get more subscribers here on this channel. We're approaching 900, and we're looking to hit that magic 1,000 very soon. And hopefully with your help, with your spreading the word about this, we will indeed reach 1,000 subscribers very, very soon. And one other thing, people have been saying to me, Joe, I haven't been getting notifications. That is not my problem. The same thing with Joe Chiappi. Sometimes people complain to him and say, Joe, I didn't get a notification about Joe and Joe or something special that you've done. This is a problem due to YouTube. So if you have a complaint about that, my suggestion is to contact whoever there is at YouTube and tell them, hey, I'm not getting a notification for Joe Rayo's show or Joe Chiappi's show on YouTube. Please try to fix that up. But for those of you who do get notifications, again, we're on tomorrow again and Monday and Tuesday at 5 p.m. with the Joe and Joe update on the Joe and Joe show at 7 o'clock on Joe Chiappi's channel, and the update here on the tropical system at 5 o'clock tomorrow, 5 o'clock Monday and Tuesday, right here on the Joe Rayo Weather Channel, right here on YouTube. Any other suggestions here? Joe Rayo needs 109 more to reach 1,000. So where are you? All of you 109 subscribers or potential subscribers, get to it. It would be a nice birthday present to reach 1,000 tomorrow. Somebody's birthday is tomorrow. It would be very nice to hit 1,000 tomorrow. That would be a wonderful present. That is a hint. All right. Enough said. I'll see you tonight on Joe Chiappi's YouTube channel. I guess you could say this is the AM and Joe Chiappi is the FM, whatever you want to call it. We'll be back in a couple hours with more on ISAIAS or Storm #9. And we'll be back here on the Joe Rayo channel on YouTube tomorrow at 5 o'clock. All I can say is adios for now, or reservoir. We'll see you a little later.